Disaster in darkness. Right now at 10, the tornado strike zone in Moore is pitch dark. With the power out, you can only hear a few generators. No street lights, no homes, nothing like a normal night in this central Oklahoma town. Good evening, I'm Karen Larson. Russ McCaskey is live tonight in Moore. Russ?
Well, Karen, we are standing smack dab in the middle of the path of this tornado. Of course, it's an F5, and you can just see some of the damage back here behind me. There's a bunch of cars here just mangled. I'm not even sure where they came from, probably across the street at the medical center. But what we can tell you is there's a home that's about 15 yards to my right. There's virtually nothing left of it except a bathtub, and I'm told that two 4-year-olds and a 6-year-old rode out the storm in that bathtub with bicycle helmets on, and they survived. That's what people are saying, is that when you see this damage, it's hard to believe that so many people survived this storm, but that is what happened, and they did so because they took the very best precautions that they could.
Russ, certainly there's debris everywhere all across the city. You can see it for miles and miles, and we're about a mile away from the school. They didn't want anyone close to it due to safety concerns tonight, and there's down power lines there. But no doubt it's certainly a devastating situation at that school. Here's one man's story.
The message last Sunday was you can't separate the suffering from the cross.
They came together in prayer.
Anoint everyone here under the sound of my voice.
One day after Joshua Hornsby's neighborhood was devastated, along with his daughter's school. He came looking for her, 9-year-old Janae, that afternoon. She was one of the missing.
Yeah, I've been praying the whole time I've been here.
He went home and did some praying, and the next morning got a call.
When he called me, he said that they had Janae with them, and I didn't accept it as what he was saying. And so I was asking the questions, what do you mean she's with you? And then he told me that she had passed.
Lord, thank you for her, Father God.
This single dad lost his best friend.
Rage just came over me. I didn't know what to do or how to feel.
She will be with us always.
But then he turned to something higher, something bigger.
It's hard, but I mean, you know, like my dad said, it's for a reason, you know, so I can't be mad about it. He knew what he was doing when he did it.
He being something greater and the source that will keep Joshua going strong.
I'm not gonna just like give up on life and give up on the things that I'm trying to do. I'm still gonna keep pressing on with her love and, you know, her memories inside of me.
Unfortunately, there was not a basement or a storm shelter at that school. Russ?
Well, the damage to many businesses across Moore, really incredible. I am standing in what used to be a nutrition store, and now, as you can see, it's basically reduced to insulation, some metal, and a few beams, and that's about it. Completely gone. And I'm joined now by Jace Chandler. Your friend owns this store, and you're just here trying to help.
Absolutely. I just got here about 45 minutes to an hour ago, and I wanted to see if there's any way that I could help out in helping him salvage anything from the store. As you can see, just the level of destruction and everything, there's not much that can be done at this point. But most of all, I'm concerned for him. I mean, it's obviously a very devastating day for him and for a lot of our close friends and family around the area. So anyway, we can be here to help out. We're trying to do that.
And he's okay, even though he was here when the tornado came through?
Yeah, he was here apparently about 5-10 minutes before the tornado came through, and haven't gotten an exact word of how he got out in time, but as you can see, he was very fortunate that he did, because anybody that was here would have definitely been in harm's way.
And how's he feeling about losing his business? Devastated?
It's got to be. It's got to be a devastating day for him and many people in this area. I mean, the amount of destructive force and power from this storm, I think it's really an eye-opener. But I think that's the thing about Oklahomans. I mean, we're all going to be there and help out any way we can. So it'll be a rebuilding process, but I think ultimately everybody will get through this.
For sure. Thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it. So, yeah, a lot of these business owners here and more starting from scratch. Justin Wilfon, 2 News works for you.
You know, people are coming out in droves to the 2 Works for You studios, dropping off donations for people of the hard-hit central Oklahoma communities. 2 News problem solver Michelle Lowry joins us now from outside with the donations. Michelle?
That's right, Russ, and as you saw the last time you checked in with me, we had a big truck with 150 cases on it. This morning, the first truck from Appliance Solutions, all loaded up, literally holding as much as it could possibly hold, headed to the Assembly of God Church in Kearney, Oklahoma. Now, this truck is from Mathis Brothers. Our friends over there brought it out so that we could load more donations into it today, collecting water for rescue workers and survivors of the storms. There's an even more pressing need right now. We are hearing from relief workers, and that's money. So we're also taking donations here at the Two Works for You studios for the Tulsa Community Foundation's Tornado Relief Fund. That is for all communities hit by tornadoes earlier this week. So if you'd like, you can bring the money that you would have spent on buying cases of water or other supplies and make a tax-deductible donation to the Tulsa Community Foundation Fund, and we can take it right here at Channel 2. And remember, Keystone Chevrolet is matching each donation case for case of this water, and at this point, we've collected ourselves more than 1,500 cases, which means more than 3,000 cases going to central Oklahoma to help. We are here at 37th and Peoria. We'll be here until 7 o'clock tonight. Live in Midtown Tulsa, Michelle Lowry, 2 News Works for you.
For another man, recovery is more than rebuilding. Joshua Hornsby's 9-year-old daughter was killed in the tornado. And tonight, Marla Carter shows us how he's moving forward 6 months later.
This was the scene just hours after the tornado hit. The twister left Plaza Tower Elementary in a pile of rubble. It's where we met Joshua Hornsby.
So I've just been waiting, trying to find out something about my daughter.
Joshua didn't find out something until the next day, when he got a call from the medical examiner.
Janae had a spirit like no other.
That day, he went to church with loved ones and prayed. Today, Joshua is taking it one day at a time and turning once again to his faith.
Just got to stay strong. You can't lose your faith because of one incident. You know, it might not have been how you felt it was supposed to go, but, you know, God has a different plan for everybody. So.
6 months earlier, if you'd asked Joshua about today, he would have been thinking of candles and cake.
It was strange to me, yeah. It was, because, like, when it happened, like, that was first, I was like, that's the 20th. And the first thing I thought about was her birthday.
Janae would have been 10 years old. Joshua knows she's celebrating and smiling down.
I'm sure she's out playing, yeah, running around.
And when those rough days come, he thinks of the good times they had and turns to his faith to carry on. Marla Carter, 2 News Works for you.
Well, at this hour, several crews with the Tulsa Fire Department are on scene trying to find what we're told are 3 people that went underwater. This is along Riverside near the pedestrian bridge near 31st Street. And I want to show you the scene right now. Right over on that side of the dam here, you can see fire crews shining lights on the water, taking a look at the water, trying to find any signs of these 3 men that they say went under. Here, take a look behind me. You can see about 10 different rail cars here off the tracks. If you look all the way down, you can actually see what one of them, or what most of them were carrying, which is brand new vehicles. Right now, Tulsa Fire Hazmat not concerned about what was inside these because it was just commodities, nothing that could be a danger to the environment. We are on Gilcrease Expressway right now. We wanted to see what the conditions look like, how they have changed since 3 hours ago. Can tell you, see right here, still going over the bridge, still icy, but everything else looks clear. We have been on Highway 75 north and south. That also looks clear. But as soon as you get to the Tisdale merge there, very icy. So you're going to want to slow down and take it very slow there.
We've been following breaking news all night. The Federal Aviation Administration tells us the Mitsubishi MU-2 went down just before 4 this afternoon, killing 1 person on board. The flight from Salina, Kansas was en route to Tulsa.
I've never seen a plane crash like that before.
Officials confirm 1 man is dead after his plane goes down near Owasso. That plane left from Salina, Kansas this afternoon, headed to Tulsa.
All of a sudden, this aircraft, it's flying along, and then it twist and turn and then spiral downward.
Normally when you drive on sleet, not that big of a deal, but you notice the traffic still moving along nicely. But what has happened as that sleet has fallen and the cars continue to drive over that sleet, they warm the sleet up, it actually melts, turns to a liquid, but with temperatures running in the low to mid 20s, it freezes right back over. So that's why you notice as these cars, even though they're moving along nicely, we are still seeing some areas where you've really got to slow down because the roads are definitely quite slick. And as we start to lose some of this traffic later on this evening and especially overnight, those roads are going to be in very treacherous shape.
Star World 20, like many other businesses, are helping fund schools through property taxes. Except the county treasurer says this theater didn't pay up in 2012. Theater owner Spirit Master Funding, owned by Thomas H. Nolan, owes $126,000, the most for last year alone.
So if you can give us a call back, that'd be great.
We called the Arizona-based company, but they didn't return our calls. And they're not alone. The 2 News investigators poured over 1,000 pages of 18,000 properties owned by individuals and businesses that owe taxes for the year of 2012 at a grand total of $20 million when you add in interest.
Go ahead and go to the start menu.
It's almost school time again. Property taxes help your kid's classroom, like paying for teachers and textbooks.
That's really cool.
Paid by property owners like Robertson Tire.
We have 17 properties in Tulsa County and 5 in Rogers County and 1 in Wagner County.
And all of that adds up to $150,000 a year in property taxes. Well, Robertson and many businesses across Green Country pay that bill on time. Thousands are late. In May, the 2 News investigators exposed some companies that owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. This time, we went digging for the worst offender, the one who owes the most in unpaid property taxes for Tulsa County. That offender, the state of Oklahoma.
So the state of Oklahoma doesn't have a deadline of when that money's due.
That's right.
I don't know how they can get away with that.
The 2 News investigators pored over delinquent property taxes and found the state of Oklahoma owes almost $2 million to Tulsa County.
Good evening, I'm Karen Larson.
And I'm Russ McCaskey. In the next half hour, the 2 News investigators will be tracking your tax dollars. Every year, you're taxed on income and property, but many don't pay their taxes.
During this show, we will expose big businesses that are hundreds of thousands of dollars behind in their property taxes. And we'll introduce you to the person in Tulsa County who owes the most in back property taxes. You'll be shocked by the lifestyle she keeps.
So how big is the problem? Here are the facts. Property taxes for 2012 were due by the end of March. Now, the good news is fewer than 10% of property owners in Tulsa County did not pay their taxes. The 2 News investigators asked for a list of those who did not pay back in April. The bad news is the list of delinquent properties for 2012 still ended up being more than 1,000 pages long.
The town of Moore put the need for storm shelters in the limelight.
And 2 News investigators found a long list of more residents waiting for shelters that never came. 2 News investigator Marla Carter's here to tell us exactly what went wrong. Marla?
Yeah, Russ and Karen, the program is called the Sooner Safe Program, and it's designed to help people out financially. But the 2 News investigators poured through thousands of documents and found that many people were left waiting while the government sat by. As the 2-mile-wide EF5 tornado paved the landscape of Moore, Heather Rhodes watched the TV from work.
So I knew it was going to hit the house and possibly the school.
Are you ready to perform tomorrow?
Meanwhile, Courtney Fristad was having an internal debate about picking up her daughter.
And I went back and forth all day on if I should go and get her and my nieces and nephews that go to Moore.
I waited for it to go over while they took shelter in the school.
That morning, both Heather and Courtney's kids were here inside the Plaza Tower Elementary School. The tornado ripped apart the building and claimed 7 lives. 2 years earlier, Heather and Courtney thought about a day like this happening when they signed up for the Sooner Safe program. It started in 2011. People could sign up for the program and get a rebate after installing a storm shelter. The program is paid for through federal dollars and run by the state of Oklahoma.
Over the last 2 years, we've done over 500 rebates each year. So that's 500 families, 1,000 families, about 1,100 so that we've done.
Right now, Dustin Brown is with his biological daughter, Veronica. This despite a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that the child is supposed to go back to her adoptive parents in South Carolina. Brown had a daughter with another woman as well. She is now 10 years old. Her mother, Rachel, and Dustin were married in 2001. And in 2005, Brown was ordered to start paying child support of $253 a month. But the 2 News investigators found through court documents Dustin Brown got behind, really behind, owing $7,000. After 2.5 years of being behind on child support payments, the court found Brown in contempt for not paying up, and he pleaded guilty. The divorce was actually final in 2008. And in September of 2010, according to court documents obtained by 2 News, both Rachel and Dustin had come to an agreement for the defendant to pay custodial parent directly. Case to be closed for child support. The investigators contacted the Oklahoma Department of Human Services to find out if Brown had paid the $7,000 owed. It could not release any specifics, but a DHS spokesperson did say it would be extremely unusual for a child support case that has gone to court in the past few years not to include a payment plan. The spokesperson went on to say, however, Mr. Brown's order shows no payment plan for past due support.
We did reach out to Dustin Brown's attorney. He declined to comment due to ongoing litigation, and efforts to contact Rachel were not successful. Russ?
Well, Marla, we've been asking people's opinions about this case on our website about where Veronica should live. Now we want to know if your opinion has changed in light of this new information. Go to our website, kjrh.com, to take our new poll.
Asanda and John depended on these stars to choose their center, but didn't realize these online records only give violations and complaints for the previous 12 months and no details. Star ratings are based on staff and programs, not violations. 2 News reviewed the online records of all 3-star and 2-star childcare homes and centers in Tulsa County, all 240 of them. We found 3-star centers that actually had multiple violations, like Cornerstone, which cares for 95 children. DHS lists 14 violations in 12 months, including fire safety, supervision, and transportation. We found 2-star centers with dozens of violations. Special Kids Learning Center, 34 violations. Royalty Learning Academy, 33. All rated 3 or 2 stars with numerous violations.
Depending on what the violations are, it may not be a violation of their stars criteria. But when a facility has that many non-compliances, that ought to be a red flag to parents that they need to take it a step further.
As the regional programs manager for DHS Child Care Services, Catherine Wooldridge watches over the worst complaints and violations. She says too many parents are relying solely on the online records, and DHS inspectors, who are only required to inspect a home or center 3 times a year.
They pick out a child care. Some parents don't even go past that front door. Some daycares now have drive-thrus where you can pull up and let your child off. They trust that everything's good.
In September, 2 News investigators surveyed school districts in Tulsa, Washington, Wagner, and Creek counties. We found every district did have emergency plans as required by law, but only 58% in our survey filed those plans with their county emergency management office as then required by law. Among those that did not, districts as large as Broken Arrow or as small as Dewey Public Schools. Those districts were filing plans with their city emergency managers or local police or fire departments instead of the county. David Wilkins is superintendent of Dewey Public Schools.
You can see the extra beds scattered on the floor. They're called boats, and they're just one of the signs of overcrowding at the David L. Moss Correctional Facility, known to most as the Tulsa Jail.
We think it's a culmination of things. We can't specifically say that it's one thing or the other, but we've identified that there's a lot of people in this area that are being arrested for warrants.
Major Shannon Clark with the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office says the growing population in the county could also be a factor.
Hey man, where are you supposed to be?
Since the beginning of the year, the jail's population has averaged about 1,800 inmates per day. The maximum allowed is 1,714.
We might be wondering why it's okay for more and more people to come through these jail doors, and there's no consequences from the fire marshal.
If a person, business, or corporation violated the fire code on city property, they could face up to a $1,200 fine and, get this, up to 90 days in jail. But jail isn't city property, and the state fire marshal doesn't issue the same penalties.
We'll say we don't give fines. We don't issue citations. We could shut down that facility. Would we shut it down? Possibly. Are we going to shut it down? Probably not.
From the state fire marshal to the state health department, penalties for the jail are not on the agenda. Finding a solution is.
There's no easy solutions, but we tried to work with the facilities to get them to be in compliance.
Recommendations from the state health department include early release, lowering bonds, and working with the judges and courts to find alternative sentences.
We look to see whether they're taking a proactive approach, because some of these things beyond their control.
And according to Clark, the sheriff's office, which operates the jail, is doing these things. He says we've seen it with the release of more than 200 inmates and during the week when the jail was not accepting municipal inmates.
Well, health officials expect a lot of people to show up here starting tomorrow morning. In fact, some of Harrington's patients have already been pulling up asking us if this was the right place. Many people only able to describe the situation as a nightmare. Joyce Baylor never thought she'd be dealing with so much pain a year and a half after stopping by Scott Harrington's dental office.
I had a tooth removed, and I thought everything was okay until all this came up.
Nowhere in these 25 pages of state dentistry statutes does it call for a routine inspection of dentist or oral surgeons' offices, not even by the Oklahoma Board of Dentistry.
No, we don't actively go out and inspect every office. We don't have the manpower for that, and there's too many offices.
The board inspects only after a complaint. Other agencies have rules relating to dentists as well. The DEA and Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics require dentists to keep logs of their drugs and medications, but they don't have to be turned in. Those logs only need to be available in case of a complaint or audit. Drugs are also to be locked up. The complaint against Dr. Harrington says he didn't meet any of those requirements. In addition, it states some medications found at his office were 20 years old.
We are here in Carefree, Arizona, outside of Phoenix. Dr. Harrington owns a home down that long driveway. On Friday night, our Scripps sister station knocked on the front door.
You won't be willing to speak with us just about...
Since then, there has been no sign of Harrington. Today, we went to 3 addresses we believe could be his relatives in nearby Glendale, Scottsdale, and North Phoenix. The only time anyone responded was at that North Phoenix home. Are you by any chance related to Dr. Harrington? A man through the window responded, just saying, quote, "I have nothing to say about that." Again, this home is the last place Harrington was seen, but there has been no sign of him since then. In Carefree, Arizona, Dan Perlman, 2 News, works for you.
We have some new numbers, the latest information into our newsroom about exactly how many people are without power in Green Country this morning. Right now in Tulsa County, about 82,000 people without power. In Creek County, just over 200 people without power. Rogers County, 150. Wagner County, quite a few there, 3,600. Osage County, only about 600. Our photographers have been out surveying the area all night long. One of our photographers shot this video in North Tulsa overnight. This was the scene that played out really all over the city as power lines were pulled down by winds and falling trees and branches. Fire crews were on the scene as this line was throwing sparks and arcing near Archer and North Marion. No reports of any injuries. And as you can imagine, these crews from the power company working all over the Tulsa area this morning, trying to restore power as quickly as they possibly can as we get ready for another hot summer day. Of course, we'll update you on their progress as we get new information.
We're live tonight at 56th and Riverside. This is one of the areas that was extremely hard hit by last night's storms. We have just been told that Governor Mary Fallin has issued a state of emergency in wake of last night's storms, and that's going to help with a lot of the debris removal and so forth. You can see some of the stuff behind us here. These big, huge trees that have been here for just about forever, it seems, have been knocked down. Very, very unfortunate. We'll get to more on all the damage and the power outages in just a moment. First of all, I do want to get you up to date on what just came down from PSO relating to power outages, and this happened just within the last 30 minutes. We're told that 62,600 Tulsa County customers are still without electricity tonight. That's down from nearly 100,000 at the height of the storm. We're told 93 main feeder lines are down. 1,400 line and tree workers have been called in to restore power. Officials say it could be Sunday before everyone gets their power back on.
Liberty, Oklahoma. It's a place where peace lives, where the sound most likely to be heard, aside from a tractor plowing a field, are the pleasant pitches of nature. You don't need a map to find your way around Liberty. There's not much here. One of the reasons I can stand right in the middle of the highway. But locals say that's just the way they like it.
To me, I feel closer to God in the country.
Barbara Kirk grew up in Liberty.
I've lived here all my life, 70 years.
As Barbara remembers it, the school inspired the town's patriotic name.
They combined a lot of small schools and made the one big school, and they named it Liberty.
It might seem hard to believe, but Barbara says a lot has changed in Liberty.
We didn't have electricity and we didn't have real water when I was a young girl.
But one thing that hasn't changed, the character of the people.
They're just very peaceful. The ones that's been here forever are just very peaceful and God-loving. Not many little towns or communities are left, but we're still here.
And they're still ready to welcome anyone in search of liberty. Braden Richard, 2 News works for you.
Welcome to winter, although winter didn't wait for the calendar to make its first appearance this year. Hi, I'm 2 Works for You Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony, and over the next half hour with the help of our team of meteorologists and reporters, we're going to get you ready for what's still ahead this winter. You're going to learn what it takes to survive the plunging temperatures, snow, sleet, and ice. This winter's first big storm hit the first week in December. With it came plunging temperatures, then sleet, ice, and lots of snow. By the next morning, Tulsa and much of the nation was in the grip of a major winter storm. Ice and snow piled on roads, homes, and businesses. Heavy ice tore down power lines, leaving 9,300 in the dark, especially in the southeast part of the state.
They said it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks.
The bitter cold made getting the homeless into shelters crucial.
When it's in the teens and 8 degrees, it's death. It can be life-threatening, it really can.
All that snow and ice played havoc with travel. Thousands of flights canceled nationally, forcing travelers to and from Tulsa to wait in some cases days to reschedule.
Anytime there's winter weather, it does wreak havoc a little bit on airline schedules.
Snow and ice-slicked highways and streets caused numerous accidents as people slipped and slid, especially in unplowed neighborhoods.
When we spoke to the Veterans Affairs in May, we were told the holdup on Mr. Slavin's claim was proving his inability to work. After our story aired, he received a form in the mail from the VA. He took it to his former employer, and they immediately signed off on it.
It states that the employee was under physical restrictions from his doctor when he was working, and they accepted early retirement package that was offered to him, and the employee was not able to perform his work.
So when the VA said they were trying to prove your inability to work, that piece of paper proves that now?
Yes.
And the VA has that?
Yes.
Finally, just last week, after several emails to the Department of Veterans Affairs, I received this email response. It said, the holdup is over. I immediately took the good news to Sam.
I don't think that I would have gotten this far without your help.
It says all of your claimed conditions, with the exception of your claim for post-traumatic stress disorder, have been evaluated and completed. You will receive retroactive benefits, and a new monthly compensation rate will be effective July 1st, 2013.
Great. You took a interview in May, and now it is just the beginning of July, and it's already finished. It's amazing.
That's right. His benefits will be retroactive for the past 15 months, and he'll receive his new benefit amount effective this month. As for the PTSD claim, an exam will be scheduled for Sam, and once results are evaluated, a rating decision will be made.
And it's been a long, long road.
Yes, and it's finally over.
Yes, and you've been a tremendous help. I said, there's no way that I could, express my gratitude.
Well, that's enough right there. We were just happy to help. You served our country for 21 years, so we're happy to help over the last few months.
Thank you so much.
Since January, the backlog in Muskogee has reduced 7%. 30% of claims in Muskogee are now fully electronic. It's estimated by this fall, all claims will be electronic. And as a result of a national initiative enacted back in April, Muskogee was able to make rating decisions on all claims pending more than 2 years for Oklahoma veterans. In phase 2, the focus will shift to claims pending more than 1 year as of October 31st, 2013. We will, of course, continue to track claims. If you've been waiting a year or more for your benefits, contact us through Problem Solvers on our website, kjrh.com.
A Tulsa woman's dream of trying to escape Section 8 housing runs right into a roadblock.
As 2 News problem solver Pete Knutson tells us, what she found in her credit report took the life out of her dream. She asked us to protect her identity.
United States Department of Education, loans.
Line by line, page by page, Mary scours her credit report and finds out something incredibly mysterious about herself.
It says on that I'm deceased.
You heard right. Deceased, as in dead, at least in the eyes of the credit world.
Well, at first I found it kind of funny, but then it got to me.
It hit home hard when Mary was trying to buy her first home through a special program which helps folks with a down payment. Of course, they had to check her credit report. We found another person's delinquent accounts on it, too, with a name very similar to Mary's, but a very different Social Security number.
Here, I'm thinking my credit is very good, but yet I go and find out that it's not because of things that's on there that's not supposed to be on there that I know I never had, and I'm deceased. It's frustrating, it's irritating, and it's very sad.
It overwhelmed Mary, financially, physically, and emotionally.
I don't know what to do.
That's when Mary decided to call the problem solvers, and we contacted the credit bureaus about her situation. Representatives were able to help Mary more quickly than she ever imagined. Within days, all of those mistakes on her credit report were corrected. Mary says she's relieved beyond belief, and she hopes to put Section 8 living behind her.
I'm ready to move on from where I'm at. I'm tired of living where I'm at.
The candidates took the stage. Former Mayor Kathy Taylor focusing on what she calls the most important issue.
And I believe education is pivotal to a vital city.
And current Mayor Dewey Bartlett setting his sights on something Tulsa hasn't seen for a while, a second term.
We haven't had it for 10 years.
The candidates tackled a number of issues: crime, roads, and the need for accountability. A big focus, Tulsa's green waste system, a system that came under fire, an issue the mayor tells me has been resolved.
I hope it has.
In August, it came to light that Tulsa's green waste program wasn't working as planned. The city's waste wasn't being recycled. Instead, it was taken to the burn plant. Bartlett admits he learned about this months after the fact. Taylor says she would have known earlier.
When I found out, I would have raised my hand and said, we made a mistake. Let's do something different.
While she says it's time for a refund to the citizens, Bartlett credits city workers for working through it. Another part of the debate focused on Taylor's track record, with Bartlett claiming Taylor quit the job in 2009.
But I think she saw the financial tsunami that we were about to hit and experience, and she didn't want to mess with it anymore.
Taylor, however, claims quitting is not what she's made of.
I completed my term. I worked every last day.
Now both Taylor and Bartlett know what's important.
The public, obviously.
As they reach out for what they need to get or stay in office.
Voters going to vote on November 12th.
Now, this was the final debate before that November 12th election. Live in downtown Tulsa, Dan Perlman, 2 News, works for you. Dan, thanks. And this week I sat down with both the candidates here in our studio, and you can find out more about the questions that we asked them that came from you, our viewers, and you can also hear their answers. It's on our website at kjrh.com/mayor2013.
The race for Tulsa mayor is one of the most expensive in city history. Roughly $4.5 million spent on this campaign. Tonight, the results are in.
Dewey Bartlett defeated Kathy Taylor to win a second term in office. Bartlett winning rather handily, garnering 55% of the vote. We have team coverage tonight. Max Resnick is live at Kathy Taylor's watch party.
We begin with Liz Bryant. She joins us live from the Bartlett campaign. Liz?
Karen and Russ, 2 hours later, and the celebration is still ongoing here at Oklahoma's Jazz Hall of Fame. Around 8:10 tonight, Kathy Taylor called Mayor Dewey Bartlett to concede. We're live right now with the two-term mayor. And Mayor, what did Kathy Taylor tell you on the phone?
Well, she was very nice. She congratulated me for winning the campaign, winning the election.
The 13th Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon is underway. We're going to be here live for the next 4 hours right here on Channel 2. Good morning from Oklahoma City. I'm Russ McCaskey.
And I'm Carol Larson. We're so glad you're up with us this morning. It's a very special morning here in Oklahoma City, the 13th annual Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon.
This race was started as a fundraiser for the Oklahoma City Memorial. That memorial is free to the public, and one of the reasons it's free is because of fundraisers like this.
Absolutely. Now, the memorial was opened on the 5th anniversary of the bombing back in 2001, and the site was dedicated by President George W. Bush just a few years later, I should say, on 2001, and it's a 3.3 acre memorial site, and of course it encompasses the symbolic memorial displays and all of the 168 glass-based chairs, reflecting pool, and of course the survivor tree as well. Now we are positioned right near the finish line, and you can just see over our corner they're kind of practicing, some kids running through and just hearing the cheers early on, but we'll be certainly hearing them a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement out here today. There's no doubt about it. It is a very, very special day.
Bob Stoops brings his troops to Notre Dame Stadium to see if he can get his first win ever over the Fighting Irish. The Sooner Nation descending upon one of college football's most hallowed settings today. OU fans galore. They're ready for this game. Will Blake Bell be ready for his game? His mom certainly is, and we are as well. Welcome, everybody, to South Bend, Indiana with Caden McFarland, Al Jerkins. You know, you have your great venues in sports. You have Yankee Stadium in baseball, the Boston Garden for basketball, Lambeau Field for the National Football League, and it doesn't get any better than this for college football, Notre Dame Stadium.
The word perfect comes to mind. These two programs, obviously, college football royalty. You look out on this stadium, which is unlike any other, that green grass, the historic grounds, and you see that crimson and cream, and you just feel like something great is about to happen.
Disaster in darkness. Right now at 10, the tornado strike zone in Moore is pitch dark. With the power out, you can only hear a few generators. No street lights, no homes, nothing like a normal night in this central Oklahoma town. Good evening, I'm Karen Larson. Russ McCaskey is live tonight in Moore. Russ?
Well, Karen, we are standing smack dab in the middle of the path of this tornado. Of course, it's an F5, and you can just see some of the damage back here behind me. There's a bunch of cars here just mangled. I'm not even sure where they came from, probably across the street at the medical center. But what we can tell you is there's a home that's about 15 yards to my right. There's virtually nothing left of it except a bathtub, and I'm told that two 4-year-olds and a 6-year-old rode out the storm in that bathtub with bicycle helmets on, and they survived. That's what people are saying, is that when you see this damage, it's hard to believe that so many people survived this storm, but that is what happened, and they did so because they took the very best precautions that they could. Now, most of the people who live around here are in shelters or they're staying with relatives because these homes are just uninhabitable. However, that didn't stop the cleanup crews from working right up until sundown tonight. Amid the damage and destruction, there's hope and humanity. People from all over have come to pitch in and help clean up. Jeremy Urey is from Joplin.
You know, everybody came to help Joplin, so do my part to come help Moore, Oklahoma.
Anybody else need any food?
A rib crib truck rolls by offering free food to those who are hungry.
We are out here helping feed everybody that's cleaning up, and just anybody that needs help, we're out here helping.
And the damage in Moore is extensive. Some homes literally gone, others are beyond repair. In the heart of the path of this F5 tornado, there was extensive damage, as you might imagine. Take a look at this bedroom. The roof is completely gone, but look inside the closet. Clothes still neatly hung on hangers. Another crew trying to help finds a pot-bellied pig. They offer it food and water.
I walked over, and sure enough, there's a pig just sitting here, and obviously by the looks of it, he went through the storm from what I can tell.
They called the Humane Society, but the owner showed up to take it. All happening right as the sun sets on day 2 of one of the worst storms to ever hit Oklahoma. And you know, it was so good to see that sun come out today. This was a pretty tough day here in Moore, Oklahoma. It rained most of the day, hailed at times. That prevented some of the weather crews from going out and doing their surveying and that kind of thing. But eventually it did give way to a pretty nice afternoon and evening. And Dan Perlman joins me. And Dan, you've been talking to some of these volunteers out here today. One in particular who's looking for something very special.
Yeah, you know, Russ, we've all seen this damage out here. Home after home and building after building absolutely leveled. Now, I talked to some of the people who lost absolutely everything, and I found out that for a lot of them, there's really just one small thing that they want back so their lives can return to some sense of normalcy. The loss is too much for Noah Allen to ignore.
I live about 2 miles from here, and you know, our house didn't get affected like this.
So he went to see what he could do.
I have a strong back and I'm ready to help, so I just came over here and decided that's what we're going to do.
This is not a job for the weak. Ready to take it on, Noah met Virgil Bell.
I've been very grateful. I've been really grateful.
Virgil told Noah there is one thing he wants to find.
His daughter has one particular doll that she'd really like, so we've just been really trying to find that one thing for her.
It's not expensive, and it may not seem like much, but it is.
It's a sheep. That's all I know. It's a sheep.
A sheep.
It's her security blanket. It was her best friend.
It's an 8-year-old girl's favorite toy. Now it's a grown man's mission. Noah has found some toys.
Every time I find one, I get all excited, and I'm like, is this? No, that's not it.
There's dejection.
Under this truck right here was his daughter's room, so we've been trying to get underneath that truck.
So far, no luck. But Noah knows what Virgil told him.
It gave her comfort and, you know, gave her such hope.
And now that hope is exactly what Noah wants to restore.
If I see a sheep, I'm going to get excited. I'm going to find that sheep.
Yeah, you know, Noah told me that he hopes to get under that truck, hopefully within the next couple of days. And Russ, he is just one of so many people who are just dedicating their free time to absolute strangers. It's absolutely amazing.
It really is good to see the spirit of volunteerism. It is incredible and makes you proud as an Oklahoman, no doubt about it. You know, we talked about how difficult this has been, particularly for parents of the children at that school, the Plaza Tower Elementary School. 7 children died there, and 2 News anchor Marla Carter has been following for the last 2 days one man as he searches for his missing daughter.
You can see that crews are now getting in, starting to clean up some of the area. This is one of the medical buildings, the hospital in Moore. It was one of the hardest hit areas, along with the elementary school. Little 9-year-old Janae is her daddy's world.
That's my love. She was my first love. Man.
That relationship, that bond that he had with her is a special bond.
Special because they were a team.
She lost her mother about 1.5 years ago, and he was raising her by himself.
So when devastation struck Moore and leveled part of his daughter's school, he went into action.
I was trying to get back, and by the time I already got back over here, the school was gone and everything like that. So I just been waiting, trying to find out something about my daughter.
As the sun set and he went home, he said a prayer with his pastor father.
Lord, I've never lost a child, so I don't know what that feels like.
The next morning, the phone rang.
What do you mean she's with you? What is she doing? Is she playing?
The medical examiner was on the other end of the line.
And then he told me that she had passed and they had her there. And just rage just came over me.
Lord, thank you for her, Father God, Lord.
Then his father, the pastor, stepped in.
Faith is believing when there's no reason to believe. Faith is hoping against hope. Faith is hoping when there is no reason to hope, when it feels like all is lost.
Through faith, Joshua says his first love is sending him a message.
She's telling me that, you know, it's going to be okay. It's not to dwell on it, you know, not to let it get me down. And she's always going to be here with me.
And no doubt the cleanup will continue for months ahead. Back to you.
Marla, thanks. Absolutely heartbreaking to hear that man's story. And your heart goes out to him and you feel for him. And you know that this community is going to rally around him and help lift him up. Again, the damage here is extensive. It is remarkable that there's probably not a great deal more people who lost their lives. But again, the warnings have improved greatly since 1999. As Dan Threlkeld has said over and over again, technology's improved. People are getting the word out and people are taking precautions. And that makes a big difference. Live from Moore, Russ McCaskey, 2 News Works for You. Let's send it back to Karen.
All right, thanks very much, Russ. By now, we've all seen the video of that violent tornado on the ground in Moore yesterday. But our chief meteorologist, Dan Threlkeld, is here with a different look at the storm. Dan?
During severe weather, we show you the reflectivity. We often talk about the hook, and that hook is something that's very helpful for us to identify where the center of circulation is. That even identified where the debris ball was, the stuff that was up in the air. But let me show you a different view. If we lay this thing back, that would be the hook right there, but we have a graphical representation of what the tornado would look like. Now, this is based on data from the complete volume scan of the NextRad radar out of Norman, and as this storm system made its way through the area, we saw the light rain, moderate rain, the heavy rain, then things stopped right before the actual tornado came through. But that's what the radar image looked like at 3:05, and then the storm system made its way through Moore, and that's the debris that would be lofted up in the air from that storm system as it moved through. Coming up in the weather, we're going to talk a little bit more about the storm that happened then, and Karen will also talk about the storm system and where it's at now and what's ahead for Green Country.
Dan, you've got some amazing technology at your fingertips. We're glad you're using it. All right, thanks. Well, the more people see what's happened, the more we all want to help. 2 News is collecting bottles of water that we'll deliver to survivors and volunteers. In just hours today, we collected more than 1,000 cases, and Keystone Chevrolet is matching the donations case for case. Environmental Loop Service even gave more than 5,700 bottles today. They pulled up in a truck. The manager says he felt it was the right thing to do.
With all the devastation going on down in Moore, I mean, they could use all the help they can get. So that's the least we could do to, give them some help.
We will continue taking water donations for the relief efforts tomorrow in front of the 2 News studio at 37th and Peoria from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. Now, unfortunately, many people across the country only know Oklahoma for our tornadoes and violent weather, and they often ask, why do people live here? Shaq Shackelford, our correspondent from The List, finds the answer.
You have disaster,
it's
and
home.
Yeah, it is home.
Oklahoma's home.
I personally believe it's one of the greatest states in the United States of America.
Melissa Allen's home was spared, but she's out collecting other people's pictures.
I hope they're alive.
Finding a little hope for those who've lost so much. Our state is well versed in dealing with tragedy. I covered the 1999 May 3rd tornado that hit the same area, killing 36 people. But in my 37 years of living in this state, never once have I had to take shelter from a storm. But back to why we stay, again, it's the people. Okies are amazing at rallying and rebounding. Right now, their backs are against the wall, but they will pull up their boots, they will go to work, cleaning up and rebuilding. Some families are just trying to hold on to what they have.
We'll gather what we can to help anybody we can, but we're just glad to be alive. It was a really scary, scary day.
Residents, the only people being allowed back into the neighborhood this morning, people going back in with buckets ready to start the cleanup phase.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do, really. I mean, like I said, we're a little bit blessed more than others right now, but we just hope everybody, gets through this, and the help is here.
A massive amount of support is already starting to pour in. Reporting from Moore, Oklahoma, I'm Shaq Shackelford.
Now, our coverage of the devastation in Oklahoma continues on KJRH.com. You can visit our website any time of the day or night and find out more about how you can help. You'll also find an interactive map of the storm track and before and after photos of the damage. Plus, you can watch a time-lapse video of the tornado and learn how to protect your family with our severe weather safety guide. It's all on KJRH.com. Debris as far as the eye can see. Next up, we'll take you up for an aerial view of the tornado's devastating track, and you'll meet people forced to relive a terrible anniversary. Devastation from that EF5 tornado spreads out just as far as the eye can see and more. Just take a look at those pictures. They just tell the whole story right there. From the air, you can see where it just leveled entire rows of homes, and those powerful winds ripped apart so very many businesses. Checking back in now with Russ. Russ, that tornado just ripped apart many people's livelihoods.
No question about that, Karen. People put their whole lives into their businesses, and one thing that we're finding is that several of those businesses were demolished in a matter of seconds. 2 News anchor Justin Wilfon has the story of one business owner who saw his business completely wiped out.
Well, the damage to many businesses across Moore, really incredible. I am standing in what used to be a nutrition store, and now, as you can see, it's basically reduced to insulation, some metal, and a few beams, and that's about it. Completely gone. And I'm joined now by Jace Chandler. Your friend owns this store, and you're just here trying to help.
Absolutely. I just got here about 45 minutes to an hour ago. And I wanted to see if there's any way that I could help out in helping him salvage anything from the store. As you can see, just the level of destruction and everything, there's not much that can be done at this point. But most of all, I'm concerned for him. I mean, it's obviously a very devastating day for him and for a lot of our close friends and family around the area. So anyway, we can be here to help out. We're trying to do that.
And he's okay, even though he was here when the tornado came through?
Yeah, he was here apparently about 5-10 minutes before the tornado came through, and haven't gotten an exact word of how he got out in time, but as you can see, he was very fortunate that he did, because anybody that was here would have definitely been in harm's way.
And how's he feeling about losing his business? Devastated?
It's got to be. It's got to be a devastating day for him and many people in this area. I mean, the amount of destructive force and power from this storm, I think it's really an eye-opener. But I think that's the thing about Oklahomans. I mean, we're all going to be there and help out any way we can. So it'll be a rebuilding process, but I think ultimately everybody will get through this.
For sure. Thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it. So, yeah, a lot of these business owners here and more starting from scratch. Justin Wilfon, 2 News works for you.
It is tough going. Everything they worked for just to have it ripped away in a matter of seconds. So very difficult. But good news is that he's all right, and that's a good sign. Karen, people here are telling me, person after person, that they do plan to rebuild right here in Moore.
As they've done before. All right, thank you, Russ. You know, those who know exactly what people in Moore are going through right now are survivors from Joplin. Tomorrow marks the 2nd anniversary of the Joplin tornado that killed 161 people. One family watched TV coverage from Moore on their computer. The Newmans imagine it's what millions of people did when it happened to them.
It's a weird feeling. Like other people were standing there watching us, and it just like it brings up all the feelings that you had. Like, you remember like what it was like.
Just can't forget. The city of Joplin did send a support team to help the people of Moore, and they're there today. After surviving the deadly storm in Joplin, one young woman moved to Moore to start a new life, and just 2 years later, she finds herself riding out another massive tornado.
Went down the road away from the tornado, and we found a drainage ditch, and so we got under the bridge there, got as low as we could. He covered me up, and then just as it passed, it went over us. You know, we just tightened and just held on, and I mean, he got hit with some things, and like my hand got hit, but there's no complaints here. I'm just lucky to be alive.
And Katie says after Joplin, those are the pictures you see right there, she learned to listen to every weather warning, and that's what saved her life again.
2 Works for You weather, certified most accurate.
When we're on TV talking about tornadoes, we try to talk in a calm and kind of a soothing way. We don't try to raise our voice. When you talk to your children about these storms, because they're going to see these pictures, they're going to be talking about that, let them know that these are, even though we're seeing a lot of pictures of it over and over again, these are still relatively rare. Every time there's thunder outside, for them, they don't know. Let them know that's thunder and it's not a tornado. When we're on television, we're going on and on. That storm could be 50, 100, 150 miles. Remind them that these storms are very, very rare, but do take the time also to talk about the safety in case they're home by themselves. The debris kicked up from this was captured by Alan Wright and Andy Wallace. They were out storm chasing. Great job to them. This afternoon at 3:20, they did find some EF5 damage. That's wind damage of over 200 miles per hour. But you know, that still wasn't the most destructive or deadliest tornado that we've had. That happened back in 1947, before we had modern meteorology. 1947, 116 lives were lost, and for many, they never even knew that the storm was coming. Things are much calmer, fortunately, tonight. 63, we've actually warmed up just a little bit at 63. Russ talked about that wave that came through the Moore-Norman area and across southern Oklahoma. Even this afternoon, there were several severe thunderstorm warnings across the south and southeast. Those finally kind of petered out, and they're still huffing and puffing and going off to the east. Rainfall amounts not not that much across northeast Oklahoma, at least since midnight. Most of that was before that. Keep in mind, this was, we had a lot of severe weather on Sunday as well. And then the showers and thunderstorms produced heavier rainfall. McAllister at 3.69. That's the most ever rain that you've ever had for this particular date. The old record was like a little bit more than an inch, so it shattered that. In Centrahoma, that's northeast of Lane, they had 4.5 inches of rainfall in that area. By the way, for Tulsa, we're still running about 3 inches below normal. Our temperatures in the 50s and the 60s. These are the current readings that we have out there. And overnight, we're going to see the skies begin to break up a little bit. Some fog forming early. The clouds will still be hanging on in southern and southeastern Oklahoma. We're going to have Taft Price and George Flickinger giving you updates on the weather tomorrow morning. They'll talk about the partly cloudy skies expected. Now, that's Wednesday. On Thursday, we're going to see some isolated showers. I don't expect severe weather, but there could be more rain coming into the Oklahoma City area for as early as Thursday morning. This model is a little bit more generous with the rainfall. So scattered showers, 20-30% chance even here in Green Country for us on Thursday. All right, overnight, we're going to fall into the 50s. It'll be a cool, crisp morning, air a little drier, and those northwest winds at 5. The afternoon right now looking very quiet, 70s and 80s. In around Moore, they'll make around 80, 81. Crews headed there. Probably going to need the sunglasses and the sunscreen if you're going to be out all day long. 20% chance of rain on Thursday. Friday, a low chance of rain. Karen, over the weekend, a lot of people will be out and about. Mid-80s expected. And for Memorial Day out at area lakes and other activities, we're looking at mid-80s coming up. And then by Tuesday, a temperature of 86 degrees. So again, Taft Price will be here in the morning. George Flickinger will be out in Moore, Oklahoma to get kind of a meteorologist aspect of the damage, the lessons learned, things that you can take away from that. So you definitely want to watch that extended coverage beginning at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning with George and Taft covering the weather. Back to you.
We'll look forward to it. Thank you, Dan. Just ahead, athletes helping with tornado relief. Big Al explains how the sports world is stepping up to help Oklahoma.
Hello, my friends. Bob Stoops says his family could see the tornado heading for Moore out their back window, just a mile away.
So anyway, just thinking of all these so many families that are devastated, and it's going to be a long, this will be a long term effort to get everyone back on their feet.
Matt Kemp launches one to left. That is way back and a home run.
Oklahoma native Matt Kemp pledging $1,000 for every home run he hits from now until mid-July All-Star break. He hit one last night, while Jeremy Hefner, pitcher for the Mets, who attended one of the elementary schools hit by tornadoes, wasn't relieved until he found out his family was safe.
So whenever I heard it was in Moore again, I was freaking out. So, I still live in Oklahoma. My house is about 2.5 hours from Moore. We live in Tulsa. Once you've lived there and you're part of the community and the atmosphere in Oklahoma, you don't want to leave. I come here during the season to play and love my time in New York, but that's where my home is. That's where my heart is.
Two major leaguers to be, pitchers Archie Bradley and Dylan Bundy, are getting involved, both donating memorabilia items to be auctioned off to raise money for the recovery efforts. Kendrick Perkins of the Thunder was getting his hands dirty, helping in the Moore neighborhoods today, while the Thunder donated $1 million to the Red Cross, matching Kevin Durant's $1 million pledge earlier in the day.
To have it hit so close to home, I call Oklahoma City my home now. It's tough to go through, but we're a city that comes together, and we'll bounce back from this. And it's tough. It's tough right now, but the sun's gonna shine soon. So we just got to stick together.
The children, any loss of life, it's just terrible. For these people, we've got to do all we can to help them.
All righty, one other note, the Big 12 baseball tournament scheduled to start tomorrow morning in Oklahoma City has been pushed back to a Thursday start, and it will now be a pool play tournament, not a double elimination. NBA draft lottery, Thunder getting pick number 12 and number 29. We'll be right back.
Tonight on The Voice, we learned Muskoge's Swan brothers will be advancing to the next round, and we continue to follow their journey. But a more powerful moment happened at the start of the show as Oklahoma native Blake Shelton joined his wife Miranda Lambert to sing her song Over You, a tribute to the Oklahoma storm victims. We're starting to wrap up tonight, but we want to check back in with Russ for some final words from Moore.
Really, three things come to mind, Karen. The first is yesterday, talking to people right after the storm had passed, the smell was incredible, and that has kind of cleared out today. That was probably natural gas, and we saw the video of the fires, houses on fire and those kinds of things, so that was probably related to that. Second thing is the electricity. Crews have been out here working until sundown trying to fix the electricity, and they're going to be out here tomorrow full bore on that because that's a top priority. And then third is volunteerism. The people keep just coming by here trying to offer us free food, free water, whatever it is you need. It's so good to see all the people pitching in. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much. And that relief effort still continues here tomorrow. We'll be collecting more water.
11 o'clock until 7 o'clock. Come on by and donate your water, and we'll take that to the tornado victims.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight.